Hello, world. Today is Friday, May 8th, 2026. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, coming to you from the United States on the East Coast, Kentucky, the city of Lexington. It is currently 6:37 a.m. The weather in this area for today, according to the National Weather Service, the high today will be 72. Currently it is 41 and clear and feels like 39. Abundant sunshine, highs in the low 70s and lows in the low 50s. Tornadoes devastate southern Mississippi states. UV will be very high and increase from yesterday to 8. Temperatures a little higher than yesterday, up by 8 degrees. Sunrise today was at 6:33 a.m. and sunset will be at 8:35 p.m. Currently, there's a light breeze, 4 miles per hour. The air is very dry. UV index is low right now. Pollen, tree is high. Grass is very high. Ragweed, none. The AQI is good at 34. Current conditions for outside activities. Running is fair, cycling is good, and gardening is fair. So those are the current weather conditions in this area. Today I thought I would, since we're into the month of May, cover the headlines and the top stories. Since this is a holiday weekend, I'm quite sure everyone has their plans here in the States and outside the States, in other countries. I'm sure you are aware that we just had a visit from King Charles III of England. And most countries, just through the idea of acquiring goods, have some connection to England. So let's get started with the headlines. Number one on the news feed today is Trump's potential pardon of Epstein's right-hand woman splits Republicans as survivors warn of a mockery of justice. That kind of is self-explanatory. So part of this reads as follows. President Donald Trump's potential pardon of Ghislaine Maxwell is splitting Republicans right down the middle. And survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse are making it crystal clear how they feel about it. The idea of clemency for Maxwell, the convicted sex trafficker who helped Epstein exploit underage girls, has resurfaced in political circles, and the backlash is immediate. Next in the headlines is Sukihana has Shannon Sharp shook after revealing she loves her 4 kids so much that they all have their own dad. That was a video clip. Next one. Grandmother found guilty of manslaughter after forcing a 4-year-old to drink a bottle of whiskey as a form of punishment. That is out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shocking to say the least. Next one, DEA says Lexington man on federal supervised release ran cocaine and meth pipeline through South Lexington home. Lexington judge rejects plea deal for woman charged with stealing from UK coach. Excuse me. Lexington judge rejects plea deal for woman charged with stealing from UK coach again. And senior Iranian official warns war is likely to resume after Trump suggests U.S. would be better off without deal. Number 7 in the headlines. Holly Madison reveals Grandpa Hugh Hefner would coax her into staying at Playboy Mansion by leaving his will out on the bed. What can I say? And number 8, Stephon Diggs' months of legal drama have ended after his acquittal, and he didn't waste time making his case for an NFL comeback. And number 9, University of Kentucky layoffs exceed 1,000 after Aramark exit. So on this one, it would seem that UK is no longer utilizing Aramark as one of their food service vendors. And because of that, 1,000 employees have to find new positions. I would imagine that Aramark was the hiring person and they were assigned to UK. And number 10, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are reportedly at odds as he is very close to becoming a part-time royal and she focuses on her lifestyle brand. So those are the headlines for today, Friday, May 8th, 2026. So let's move on to the top stories. Number 1 in the top stories is U.S. Treasury will have to borrow $2 trillion this year just to continue functioning. More than $166 billion every month. I had read previously in another article pertaining to the gross domestic product has gone into the trillions, 30-some trillion dollars. And with the debt that the United States has now, the debt exceeds the gross domestic product. This has not occurred since World War II. So the opening paragraph of this article reads as follows. The U.S. Treasury will likely have borrowed more than $2 trillion by the end of the fiscal year, according to the latest estimates out of the Executive Office of the President. A figure described as beyond scary by budget hawks. Yesterday, the department headed by Scott Besnett released its latest quarterly refunding documents, which communicate any changes in debt management policy, as well as financing estimates from Treasury and bond market participants. The documents are shared bond insurance plans. The presentation showed that as of April 2026, the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, expected the 2026 fiscal year to run at a deficit of $2.06 trillion, higher than estimates from the Congressional Budget Office, CBO. The federal fiscal year will end on September 30, with the OMB projecting a deficit of $2.17 trillion for fiscal year 2027. This means that for every month of the current fiscal year, the government will have issued more than $166 billion in debt. From October, that average will increase to approximately $181 million a month. And so it goes. Next one in the top stories, Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky warns two types of people won't survive the AI era: pure people managers and workers who resist change. Excuse me. Rapper Kodak Bear arrested on drug trafficking charge. Haven't heard from Kodak Black in a while. So it seems that now his name has reached the headlines at this point. Next one, hantavirus in the U.S., where the rare, sometimes deadly disease has been found. As you may or may not know, there was an outbreak of the virus on a cruise ship, and several people who had disembarked in other countries later were hospitalized and died. So that led to some follow-ups after the announcement. So the article is dated 15 hours ago. As investigations continue into the hantavirus outbreak that originated on the expedition cruise ship MV Hondius, concerns swirl about the prevalence of the virus in the U.S. Among passengers of the ship, which was traveling from Argentina across the Atlantic, there have been 3 deaths and at least 8 reported cases, several of them laboratory confirmed, according to the World Health Organization and subsequent health reports. At least 5 states are now monitoring residents who return from the MV Honduras, including Texas, Virginia, Georgia, Arizona, and California, reports have noted. In the U.S., there have historically been around 800 to 900 cases of hantavirus, according to Louis Marcos, MD, professor of medicine and director of the Infectious Disease Fellowship Program at Stony Brook Medicine in New York. CDC data supports this, showing that 890 cases of hantavirus disease have been reported in the U.S. from 1993 through the end of 2023. Most of these cases have been west of the Mississippi River, and classically the risk factors are being in contact with feces and urine from rodents. The most common strain is called Sin Nombre, which is not transmitted from human to human. Most strains of hantavirus spread from inhaling contaminated particles from rodent urine, droppings, or saliva, or less commonly from touching contaminated surfaces and then touching the mouth, nose, or eyes, and are not transmitted person to person. Next in the top stories, King Charles did not meet Epstein survivors during a historic U.S. visit. Virginia Guthrie's family calls it out. This explanation is similar to President Trump trying to involve King Charles in a couple of statements that he was making, whereas England operates with the king and queen being separate entities, not affiliated with any political party. The person who handles that would be the prime minister. So this is dated 1 day ago, and it's from Fox News. As follows: Virginia Guthrie's family was just minutes away while King Charles III was in Washington, D.C. for a landmark address to Congress. The monarch marked the 250th anniversary of American independence with a historic 4-day state visit that also included New York City and Virginia. While the 77-year-old won widespread praise for speeches championing a lasting U.S.-UK bond, he did not meet with Guthrie's loved ones. A Buckingham Palace spokesperson told USA Today the king would not meet with Guthrie's brother, citing concerns it could affect ongoing police inquiries and potential legal action involving his brother, the former Prince Andrew. Guthrie, a mother of 3 who accused the ex-royal of sexual abuse, died by suicide last year at age 41. eBay bans GameStop CEO's account after he started listing store signs and old carpets to fund his $56 billion offer to buy the marketplace. Well, GameStop is worth about $11 billion. They have secured loans for $20 billion, and that still leaves some more billions to be acquired. So his listing store signs and old carpets to try to make up the difference is what this article is about. Judge rules Trump administration's cancellation of humanities grants was unconstitutional. If you were not aware, universities offer education in the fine arts, and some of what is being covered here comes under that banner. So the opening paragraph, and this is from 10 hours ago from the Associated Press. The Trump administration's cancellation of more than $100 million in humanities grants to scholars, writers, research groups, and other organizations was unconstitutional, and the Department of Government Efficiency had no authority to end the funding, a federal judge in New York ruled on Thursday. U.S. District Judge Colleen McMahon in Manhattan sided with the Authors Guild, several other groups, and several people who had their grants canceled and sued Doge and the National Endowment for the Humanities. McMahon permanently barred the administration from terminating the grants and criticized Doge's use of artificial intelligence in nixing the funding. Trump pardon recipients face congressional probe over pay-to-play questions. From CBS News 1 day ago, Senate and House Democrats have launched an investigation into whether pardons and commutations issued by President Trump were driven by pay-to-play dynamics, according to letters obtained by CBS News. Maybe within the last week or two, I read an article that was pertaining to this. where a pardon was granted, but it did not cover that person's court-issued order to reciprocate the victims financially. So they still had to make good on the restitution. So the article continues. Among the pardons being probed by lawmakers are those granted to cryptocurrency billionaire Changpeng Zhao, who pleaded guilty to money laundering, nursing home operator Joseph Schwartz, who was convicted of tax crimes, and entrepreneur Trevor Milton, sentenced to 4 years in prison in 2023 after being convicted of lying to investors. On Thursday, California Congressman Dave Min and Paul Ruiz, as well as Vermont Senator Paul Welch, sent letters to more than a dozen recipients of executive clemency, seeking to unearth how they may have received favorable treatment from Mr. Trump. I'm laughing because I read another article while I was going through the news feed that called him former President Trump. So now this one says Mr. Trump, or his advisors through intermediaries, financial contributions, or other forms of influence. The Democrats are also examining the impact of pardons and communications on thousands of financial victims. The letters note that Mr. Trump's acts of clemency are depriving victims of compensation and justice, citing the president's elimination of hundreds of millions of dollars in restitution, money owed to crime victims, and fines. So that's just the opening paragraph of that article. Number 9 on the top stories. U.S. will start revoking passports for thousands of parents who owe child support, AP learns. This was something new to me. Again, from the Associated Press, 15 hours ago. The explanation, according to the article, is as follows. The U.S. State Department will begin revoking the U.S. passports of thousands of parents who owe a significant amount of unpaid child support. The department told the Associated Press on Thursday that the revocations would begin Friday and be focused on those who owe $100,000 or more. That would apply to about 2,700 American passport holders, according to figures supplied to the State Department by the Department of Health and Human Services. The revocation program, plans for which were first reported by the AP in February, soon will be greatly expanded to cover parents who owe more than $2,500 in unpaid child support. The threshold set by a little-enforced 1996 law, the State Department said. It was not clear on Thursday how many passport holders owe more than $2,500 because HHS is still collecting data from state agencies that track the figures, but it could encompass many more thousands of people, officials said. Until this week, only those who applied to renew their passports were subject to the penalty. Under the new policy, HHS will inform the State Department of all past due payments of more than $2,500, and parents in that group with passports will have their documents revoked. As they say, now you know. And number 10 in the top stories, Melania Trump interrupted by laughter after mentioning husband's empathy. From USA Today. A crowd at a military Mother's Day event laughed lightly when First Lady Melania Trump referred to her husband's empathy. President Donald Trump and the First Lady welcomed mothers of military service members to the White House on May 6. Melania Trump, a mother to Barron Trump, said mother's love and power are at the heart of America's strength. She then introduced President Trump, who spoke on the skirmish in Iran. Most know my husband as the strong commander-in-chief, but his empathy transcends the role, she said as laughter bubbled up in the crowd. And she paused to look back at the president and shape a caring leader who constantly remembers each and every American soldier is someone's child. The laughter grew louder as President Trump shrugged and the First Lady smiled back at him. This does include a video. And included with the article is a few human interest items. When did Melania meet Donald Trump? The First Lady posted an excerpt from her memoir, Melania, on social media that tells the story of how she met her husband. She said she met Donald Trump at the Kit Kat Club on a Saturday night in September 1998 while at a party with her friend. "Hi, I'm Donald Trump," the man said when he reached my table. "Nice to meet you." I recognized the name and I knew he was a businessman or celebrity, but not much else. He put his hand out to shake mine, she wrote in her book. His eyes filled with curiosity and interest, and seizing the opportunity, he took the seat next to mine and started a conversation. She also wrote that he was accompanied by a beautiful date. So she didn't think much of it at the time, but she was drawn to his magnetic energy. They were married in 2005 and had one child together, Barron Trump, the following year. Is Melania Trump an American citizen? Yes, she is the only First Lady to be a naturalized citizen. What nationality is Melania Trump? Melania Trump was born in Slovenia. How old is Melania Trump? Melania Trump turned 56 years old on April 26th, and Donald Trump is 79 years old. His birthday is June 14th. How tall is Melania Trump? First Lady Melania Trump is 5 feet 11 inches tall. So that covers the top stories for Friday, May 8th. I did want to share one more thing with you. You know, holiday weekend, Mother's Day, etc., etc. This is from right here in Lexington, and it's from the LFUCG General News. And it's encouraging, so we can end things on a bright note. Dated May 6th, 12 Fayette County students awarded Be the Change scholarships as follows. 12 Fayette County Public Schools seniors have been awarded 2026 Be the Change scholarships. Mayor Linda Gorton announced today, marking an expansion of a program designed to support students pursuing careers in criminal justice, public safety, and gun violence prevention. The scholarship is available to FCPS graduating seniors who are eligible for free or reduced lunch, plan to attend a Kentucky 2 or 4-year college, and have an interest in pursuing a career that strengthens community safety and equity. Just as a point of side interest, Eastern Kentucky University criminal justice and Health Sciences, and Kentucky State University. I know included in their curriculum is courses on city planning. The article continues, a city initiative dedicated to reducing gun violence among youth and young adults administers the program. One Lexington. I'm so proud of these 12 students who are committed to continuing their education with support from the Be the Change Scholarship, Gordon said. We're thankful to Gauls, Central Bank, and Bluegrass Community Foundation who are working with our One Lexington team to support our next generation of community leaders. Funding for the scholarship program is made possible through a partnership among the city, Gauls, and Central Bank, and is administered by Bluegrass Community Foundation. Each recipient receives a one-time award of up to $10,000 for a single academic year. The program has grown significantly since its inception. When Gauls first partnered with One Lexington and the city in 2022, we knew we were on to something special, says Gauls Vice President of Legal Operations, Justin Penman. So many of our customers, the officers, firefighters, paramedics, and public safety professionals we serve every day, call Lexington home. Penman noted the program's expansion from a single scholarship at Bryan Station High School to an opportunity for young leaders across every Fayette County public high school. These students represent the future of public safety, criminal justice, and community service, Penman said. Their stepping up to pursue these fields gives all of us at Gauls tremendous pride. According to One Lexington's recent year-end report, the initiatives are contributing to declining gun violence among the city's youth and young adults. The scholarship represents one component of the broader community-based strategy aimed at preventing gun violence through education, intervention, and economic opportunity. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm probably a little bit premature on this, but it does fit in. A few days ago, Lexington had reached 91 days with no reported homicides as a result of gun violence. So by now it's close to 100 days. So I was trying to wait until it actually reached 100 days to say anything, but considering how that article kind of fell in with it, so I'm gonna say it now. So we are close to, in Lexington, we are close to 100 days without a gun-related homicide, if I'm understanding it correctly. So, Friday, May 8th, 2026, holiday weekend, Mother's Day. Things to do, people to see, places to go. That's it. Hashtag.